What's up guys, Chasing Lamely here, and this is episode number 2 of our Williams adventure in Motorsport Manager. And today we're going to Sydney for what is apparently a wet race, very wet race. Just, for transparency's sake, I'll just show you this. We are playing, I've got it in window mode, you can't tell, but I have. We've got it on realistic race strategy, we've got it on long session length, so we're watching full races. I will speed them up, don't panic, we're not going to sit there for like 2 hours watching races happen, because that would be mental, and I think you guys would probably lose interest fairly quickly. I've set the auto optimize and auto control on purely because I feel like that's something a driver would control, so it shouldn't be something I control, and the race difficulty is just set to normal because I didn't want to go too far. Yeah, so very little to tell you about in terms of new developments. We've got a couple more new wings that have been developed, but they're not quite reliable enough yet to be putting on the car. In fact, I haven't even tried making them reliable yet. That's fine. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I just want to get the original parts to be reliable first, was kind of my thing. Because once all the original parts are at 100% reliability, I can start really pushing through new parts and making them the best they can be. We're also building up the quality of the original parts there as well. The original gearbox, the original engine, the two pieces that felt like they could, carry us the furthest, I guess. So let's go into the race weekend itself. Just so you guys are aware, I'm not going to be showing you guys practice, not because there's anything nefarious going on, just because it's me setting up a car. I go in and out quite a lot, but we'll do qualifying and we will do the race. So I feel like it's probably safest if I tell them I can finish 15th or above. I'd be very surprised if we do, but that's life. Tyre selection for this weekend. Let's see what the advice is. That's not far off where I would take it. Let's go fives and fives and fives, because that way I've got time to kind of play with the tyres, and part fitting we're just going with whatever we've got in the car right now. So let's hit the race button and let's see where we end up. Hopefully somewhere good. Hopefully. As I said, we are not going to do practice together. We'll just go straight into qualifying. So, with that in mind, we'll be back in a second. So, we made it through the night that was practice. Kubica came in second on the timesheets, but that was largely because we got out just before the rain started coming down. I don't know what. I think I'm probably better off putting the qualifying trim and the super softs on there. Yeah, basically, Kubica played a blinder in qualifying in practice, but I've got a few little tweaks to make with the setups, as you can see. So, one stage I had that perfect. Think that I should do it. We'll try that. Yeah, that should be okay. Right. So that's Kubica's setup done. I'm going to have to go with whatever of Russell's was the best overall. We'll go with that one. And put him on the soft tyre, the super soft tyre. Right. So we're aiming to get above 15th for that £5,000 bonus from the sponsors. We're going straight into Q3. Let's see what we can do. Hopefully something quite good. We will send out Kubica right away because I want to get feedback on that setup. And then we will send out Russell as he is, because yeah, because I can't tweak that down enough in a qualifying session. If I had like an extra 5-10 minutes maybe on the practice session. I probably could have tweaked that out, but I'd rather have a setup he's happy with, that I know he's happy-ish with, than go for perfect if it's going to ruin his qualifying. That's kind of the thinking there. So let's see what we can do. Kubica going up for the first run in Q3. Russell just behind him. Hopefully they'll give each other some space. Hopefully, I think that's Raikkonen behind him, isn't going to try and push his way past him on the outlap, because that would be painful. And hopefully we'll see Kubica come round with a proper lap. So we're just going round into the last section here. They've both overheated their brakes, but they've got all their tyres perfect, so we'll see what happens. Kubica now coming around to the start-finish line. What's he got? Straight into his flying lap. Russell's on a flyer as well. Let's see what we can do. Can we at least challenge Raikkonen's time? That's what I want to see. I want to see purple sectors, boys. Purple sectors will do nicely. Kubica comes round. I've not introduced any upgrades to the cars just yet, because it didn't feel like it was necessary. There's a couple of, I don't know who that is, that's just come out ahead of George, but I don't like that. Kubica's got himself a green first sector. That's okay. It's not purple though. I just 3/10 down on that first sector. Russell is 2/10 down on the first sector. George Russell just hit the fastest sector 2 though. This could be interesting. Just got to qualify above 15th. We just got to get into Q2, and we are okay with the sponsors. Kubica comes round. It's going to put him into first. Oh. Wow, Russell's beaten Raikkonen. Kubica's in second, 4/10 down. Romain Grosjean puts up a time. Hamilton though that's given us a sighter. That's shown us roughly where things are going to be for this. I think for this section of qualifying. Being 7/10 off though should be enough to put us in the top 15, but Kubica may have to go again. That's better than I was hoping for, if I'm honest. I thought we'd be a little bit close to the bottom of the timesheets. I mean, it could still end up that way. By all means, it could still end up that way. That's no secret with Williams. It could end up that we end up in the bottom of the timesheets, as Kubica is about to drop clear, with Verstappen and Vettel and Leclerc about to still need to put in tyres, but Russell's holding on tight to 7th. So that could be very interesting if George Russell makes it through. Kubica is coming into the pits. Let's get him back out as fast as we possibly can. He is. I'm going to try him on that setup, because I think that setup might be marginally faster. And we will put a new set of super softs on him. I don't want to keep burn through any more than I have to, but yeah, we'll play that safe. I don't want to burn through any more sets of super softs than I have to, because we might have to do a Q2. I'd like to at least have one set for the race, if possible. George Russell now a second exactly down. Kubica 1.4 off the leader, who is Vettel. We've got clear track ahead of him, which means it's entirely on him now. Let's speed it up. Let's see if he can bring this round. George Russell desperate to get out for another lap. Can I find him some clear air? I should get him out in clear air if I send him now, actually. Send him on the tyres he was on. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, we'll send him on the tyres he was on. Sorry, I've got a bit of a thing stuck in my throat. Anyway, we'll see if he can improve his time. If not, we've still got time to send him on a fresh set if we need to. Kubica, meanwhile, he's just started his flying lap there. He's coming through. Hopefully George will move aside, because that will mess up Kubica's qualifying if he catches him too quickly. There should be enough gap between them just about, but we'll soon find out. Let's Kubica now. What can he do in this first sector, which should be coming up about now-ish? First sector's green. He's improved on his previous time. What can he do through the second? I'd like to see another improvement from Robert Kubica here. Any kind of improvement will be glorious, quite frankly. Must be coming up to it around about now. There we go. He's improved on his second as well. Can he do it with his third? Can he somehow get himself below that 1 second gap? That would be the ideal here. Get him below 1 second. Can he do it? He's come through. 1.2. He's improved on his previous time, but it's not quite good enough, is it? It's not quite good enough. Let's follow George. Let's see what George can do. Can he improve? Get himself under a second behind Vettel's time. You'd like to think so. He's coming through on first sector now. Oh, he's down by 0.6. This is going to be a significantly worse lap, you'd think. Really shows you the difference that fresh tyres can make. Hopefully we can get both of them back out before the end of Q1. That would be ideal. Russell's going to come through now, see what he can. It's going to be poor. He's actually lapping slower than Kubica was, so that's not going to be an improvement. Let's get Kubica out again. I'm going to have to use another fresh set. There's got to be a fresh set. Let's see if he can make this one last go round really count. We're not going to get George back out, so it's going to be a case of wherever he ends up, unfortunately. But that's not the worst. It's not the worst at all. You know, if you'd offered me 17th, 18th before qualifying, I'd have taken it, quite frankly. I think that's approximately where we are. In reality, I certainly expect us to finish there during the race, but we'll see how it ends up. Let's see how this goes. Kubica's got a real chance here. We're not going to get George Russell back round for another lap, so he's really going to have to hold on tight. Only 0.15 of a second between him and Oblivion, really. But this is okay, because Kubica's going to make it round. He's overheated his brakes again. He's not quite got his tyres right. This could go badly for him. Valtteri Bottas is on a flyer in section 1. Right, what's Robert Kubica got? He's really got to unleash now. He's got nothing but air in front of him. There are no excuses anymore. Coming through, just about to hit sector 1 now. And he's massively down. He's half a second down on where he was. He's really going to have to turn it up for sector 2, which I can't see happening, if I'm honest. This car's not been great all the way through the weekend. I mean, the setup is right, but nothing else is working. Russell's made it through. There's no, unless Kubica plays an absolute blinder. In fact, even if he plays an absolute blinder, George Russell is making Q2. That's the sponsor bonus secured. And that was poor. That was very, very poor. Okay, let's see if we can get George Russell into Q3. I very much doubt it, because he is 0.05 of a second off the pace right now. You'd expect Ricciardo and Hülkenberg to improve, certainly on where they are right now. You'd hope they would. Let's put it that way, you'd hope they would. So confirmation there, we've lost Pierre Gasly, Robert Kubica, Sergio Perez, Danny Kvyat and Lance Stroll will start behind us. Danny Kvyat's going to fly through, surely. You can't imagine he's going to stay behind us all race. Let's see what we can do in Q2. I think we can probably do something here, if I'm honest. Right, we've got one set of fresh tyres to make this work on, really. It's going to have to be a hell of a time from George Russell. We'll skip the, well, we'll speed through on 12 times speed the warm-up lap. He's really got to open up that gap though. It's better. He has let that gap go. As he comes round, his brakes are good. His tyres are perfect. Let's see, George Russell, what can he do with his flying lap? Raikkonen's laid down a marker at 125, which is about where Vettel was on the last lap. Although we've got water coming down on the track, we might sneak through to Q3 purely on the basis that we managed to get out just before the rain came down. This is either going to really help us or really hurt us. That rain coming down could really play things out either way. Generally speaking, if you can time it to get out just before the rain, I didn't even check to see if there'll be rain, if I'm honest. If you can time getting out just before the rain, you can sometimes really sneak through, as long as that track is going to stay wet all the way through, which it's not. Might have to sneak out a stint towards the end, I think, but this could play out to our advantage. So that's going to obviously put George Russell in second into Q3, but we're going to have to wait this rain out now, because we're not going to improve that time on a wet track. I'd be very surprised if we improve that time on a wet track. Lewis must have just got out as it started raining as well. As you can see now, Grosjean, Hulkenberg, who'd expect to be ahead of us, putting in times. Giovinazzi, Magnussen putting in times on soft tyres. That's on super soft tyres, I should say. Valtteri Bottas is a whole 3 seconds down on us. Ricciardo's a whole 4 seconds down on us. Albon 5. That track's getting wet fast, which means we are gonna log some garage time here, I think. What sort of time are we expecting that to start drying up? It's going to be about the 3-minute mark. So we're going to go spend 4 minutes in the garage. We are going to hope Charles Leclerc has put in a 128 though. Ooh. We'll do a run. We'll do a one run on a set of inters, because I do have a slight fear that if Leclerc can get that 128 on inters, we might be in trouble. We might be in trouble right now. Let's find out. Let's speed through the warm-up lap. Hopefully he'll get everything in the right place. He hasn't. He's badly messed that up, quite frankly. I know we're not quite locked in yet. We'll see. But it looks like he's badly messed up the brake temps for sure. Yeah, he's badly messed up the brake temps. That's fine. As long as he can put out a faster lap than he did before, we should be okay. So if you guys, Albon, Sainz, Norris has just put on a set of inters as well. Definitely a few teams have decided this is worth a bash. It wasn't just me panicking. There are a few teams who've decided that going out on inters is worth a bash. They are all below the Q2 threshold though. So, you know, touch and go. But that said, George Russell's coming at, what, 500ths of a second down, 600ths of a second down on his best. So, was that the right decision? Is there more time in this car? He has gone the fastest sector 2. This could have been a very good decision. This could have been a very, very good decision. We're going to have to see how this plays out. pretty much as soon as I get him back to the garage, I'm going to have to send him straight back out on a set of supers, which is far from ideal, but we'll send him out on a set of supers. We've gone first by 0.6 of a second as well, so there is some speed left in this track on inters. It might be the other teams have screwed themselves, as Alex Albon goes fastest. Now Sainz has gone fastest. Teams are starting to wise up to the fact that inters are the way forward, but that track is drying fast. I'm going to get him out as fast as I can on a set of supers and see how this goes, because I think that track is about to dry up completely and get quicker. See, it says it's damp up here, but there is no more rain due. It should, just as we get to the end of the session, if we make it round, it should be a completely dry track. So let's go speed through this. Speed through. In the final minute, we are about a third of the way through the lap. It's going to be touch and go. Really touch and go. 6. We've made it through. We've made it through now. Okay, let's see what we can do here. We are through to Q3 regardless, which is a miracle, quite frankly. I didn't think we'd get to Q3. It does mean we're going to be starting on scrub tyres, quite frankly, but worth it, I think. Worth it is the answer to that. Charles Leclerc has taken 0.2 out of his best first sector. Also, Russell has Charles Leclerc is dropping purple all over the track, quite frankly. George Russell there is going to come in probably second out of this session. That would be my prediction. Third, maybe, depending on Kevin Magnussen. K-Mag's just started to cross the line there. He's gone second. George Russell, what can he do for us? He's coming across the line now. He's coming in third. That's not too bad. That's not too shabby at all. It's 0.7 below a Ferrari. We've lost some big names in Q2 though, boys. Some big old names in Q2. Max Verstappen, gone. Seb Vettel, gone. Valtteri Bottas, gone. Daniel Ricciardo, gone. And ahead of them, Giovinazzi. So going through to Q3 is Charles Leclerc, Kevin Magnussen, George Russell, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon, Kimi Raikkonen, Lewis Hamilton, Romain Grosjean, and Nico Hülkenberg. Quite a mix up there. Only 2 McLarens and 2 Haas got through. Everything else, strong mixed bag. So, should be quite a race even looking at this, quite frankly. I cannot believe that Max, Seb, Danny Ricciardo and Valtteri Bottas didn't go looking for, another lap, quite frankly. But the flip side of that is that it's going to provide a better race. What have we got in terms of rain? No rain due. I think what we're going to do is we're going to hang back and we're going to try and get a lap really late in this session, sort of out the 3-minute mark-ish. We're going to let some people lay down some rubber, put some grip on the track. George Russell's having a slight panic, but we weren't expecting to get to Q3 anyway, quite frankly. So we do a 1 run and we don't do anything spectacular. That's not the worst thing in the world. He's desperate to get out. George Russell is desperate to get out of the pits. I would relax, George. That would be my answer. Relax. It is definitely some grip going down. There we go. See, that's where the grip's starting to go down now. We're going to go last couple of minutes or so, I think. That should give us just enough time to make any necessary changes. Okay, let's get George out. Stop him moaning if nothing else. If we can get above 10th, I will be very happy. But I don't expect it. We have got a minute left. We're about halfway around the lap. We'll comfortably get onto a flyer. Nothing but clean air in front of us, and here we go on the flying lap. What can George Russell do? He's got one last gasp attempt. I had to wait for the track grip to get good enough, or to reach the optimum for the session at least, because that I think might be the difference between us setting a good time and it not being worth us going out. George Russell with a 0.4 down puts us at 4th as things stand. Where are we going to be by the second sector? We should just be coming around to it more or less now. There we go. 0.7, that's his best sector 2 so far, and that will put us 7th. 7th would be respectable. Frankly, he's got to lose another 0.7 for us to be 9th. Where are we going to finish? Crosses the line. 8th place. 8th on the grid is... It's 10 places higher than we wanted, boys. That's 10 places higher than we could have possibly have asked for. So, going into the race now, we've got a car on 8th and a car in 17th. That's not the worst we could have hoped for. In fact, that's actually pretty good. As first sessions go, I'm quite happy with that in Australia. We got our sponsor bonus. And we reach Q3, and actually those times, they're not the worst, you know, they are not the worst times. Lando Norris set his best time in Q1, but that's life. Right, let's continue. Robert Kubica has no chance of catching Lewis Hamilton tomorrow. Williams suck, but good effort from Williams today, says Jensen Button. They'll be hoping for something even better tomorrow. And Aurora Taldo's got tickets for a tour of Williams HQ. Anything else? Anyone else talking useful about us? Oh, we also got some good feedback for practice as well, but that's fine. Right, into the race. Like I said, I've got this on realistic strategy. I believe we are locked into the tyres from P2 there. We are. We're definitely going to put race trim on because that just makes sense. And I think we're going to take advantage of our knowledge of wet tyres, because that is going to get awfully wet halfway through the race, and I think that could make a difference. I'm not going to change the car strategy. I'm going to push the engine off the line. What sort of timing are we expecting to come in? Lap 10. How long are the supers going to go? I'm not going to push the tyres because that would be a mistake, I think. Because I think if I can get them so we are just coming onto wet as the rain hits, that's probably going to work out best for us as a 2-stopper. So let's try from there. Let's see how it goes. Confirmation of your grid. We've got Hamilton on pole with Carlos Sainz in the McLaren next to him. Beautiful work. Charles Leclerc and Nico Hülkenberg, they've got full super softs on the tyres, but they put in their best times, I think, on inters, which is interesting. Nico's, they came out late, I remember. Nico has also finished in 4th, so A good finish for the Renault there. Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen in the Haas have locked out row 3. Row 7 we start with Kimi Räikkönen next to George Russell. We've got Lando Norris and Alex Albon behind us. Then we've got Giovinazzi and the big guns. Bottas in 12th, Ricciardo in 13th, Vettel in 14th. Also starting on softs, you think they want to go longer in their first stint. Verstappen, Gasly, Kubica, Sergio Perez starting on scrub tyres, but he's usually quite good at looking after a set, so we'll see how that goes. Danny Kvyat and Lance Stroll make up the back row. Let's see how this goes for us. We've got one light red, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's go now. There we go. We'll see how we get off the grid to start with. George Russell already losing places. Oh no, he's starting to build up. There's a few slow starters there. Up into 5th. This could be an excellent start. George Russell heading through to 4th. It looked like he was going to get his nose in front there, but he didn't quite do it. Back down to 7th. This is going to have to even out at some stage. 3 wide through the corner, and he's got himself up ahead of Hamilton. That's unbelievable driving from young George Russell. Kubica's up in 14th, by the way. But George Russell is what we're really focusing on, because he has been flying throughout the qualifying and practice sessions. And George Russell now up into 4th. Not quite. He's dropped down to 6th, but he should be able to hold it for now. Not quite. This is gonna be a very, very difficult early stage of the race. Like I said, we're going on full race distances, a 41 lap race. We will speed through the middle section where it starts to even itself out, but whilst the cars are still close together, let's keep an eye on things. Kubica's dropped down to 16th. There you go. He's in a bit of a tangle there. Russell's dropped down to 10th, and things are starting to shake out to roughly where you'd expect now. Lewis has got himself up to 6th. Verstappen's got himself up to 7th. Bottas has got himself all the way up into 3rd. Remember, he started well below us. 12th, 13th? Well below us. So already things are starting to shake up. Seb Vettel, I think, was 15th, 14th, 15th. It's all a bit mad. The start is all a bit mad. Teams are sort of starting to filter through to where you would expect to be. Ricciardo's just behind us. Is going to push through on the ERS there. I'm not sure what's going on with the... Oh, we've gone into hybrid mode. We've gone into hybrid mode to save fuel. Interesting thoughts. Wouldn't have been my choice, I'll be honest, but we'll go with it. You've got to trust the drivers, right? You've got to trust the drivers to know best. They are saving fuel by being in hybrid mode too, but it would be nicer if you could just give it a little bit of a push past, I think. You'd rather see a push to pass moment here than anything. And we're starting to settle down now. We're into 10th. We're going to just kind of let that play out, I think. Well, that is going to hurt the engine. Whereas everyone else in terms of strategy, let's drop back into high engine mode, because that looks like that's roughly where everyone is. As things stand, George Russell will get himself a point, which is not shabby. And I think we might give it a minute and we'll see where things are. Don't think Giovinazzi's covering us too quickly. As I say that, he does start to push back. Kevin Magnussen's giving... I'm going to drop back to Robert Kubica here, because he is in a fight with Robert Kubica, with Kevin Magnussen. He should be able to force his way through there if we just give him our blessing to have an attack. We will see how he does with that. Magnussen, K-Mag is starting to pull away a little bit. See if this closes up the gap. He's down to 3.5 or 0.35. Down at below 0.3 briefly there, so we are starting to make some headway. But there we go, we're through to 15th. Which, you know, it's a small thing, but we'll take it. And if we can get somewhere up behind Pierre Gasly, I'd be quite happy in the second Red Bull there. Because he's right behind Carlos Sainz. We're closing up rapidly. We're really holding us back with Magnussen, apparently. What can Kubica do here? Can Kubica force his way past? He looks a bit racy, doesn't he? He looks racy. Got to be thinking about over the line, surely. There we go. It's 0.8087. It's under 0.1. Under 0.1 of a second. Got to be thinking it through. I'm going to try and push him past. He says his tyre temps are too high. It's starting to cause some graining. I understand it's going to cause problems for him. But I do want him to get through there. And get it through into 14th. I think it feels doable. It really feels doable. He's so much quicker through this section. You're up into 14th, up into 13th. Can you get up into 13th? He has got up into 13th. Sorry, I was just changing George Russell's strategy to fight off Giovinazzi. But that should see us in a nice place there. Right, let's drop the fuel down, the tyres down to neutral. We are into lap 6. And we're looking at lap 10 or 11. I might have to start saving on some tyres, you know. I have to save on some tyres because there is no way we are going to get to the rain. So we are going to have to hope there is an undercut available, basically. Put that into harvest mode. Put that into harvest mode and hope they both use that to push on. They did, so they read my mind. Because hybrid mode was really doing us no favours. But we have got a lot of fuel to play with as a result, so we'll see how this plays out for us. I'm going to go through to times 12 speed for the rain. Keep an eye on those gaps. George Russell's complaining that his tyres are wearing out. That's fine because I just need to get through. He's through on 9th. With, you know, Norris has come in for the pits, which has helped out immensely. But also, I think that's probably going to help us in the grand scheme of things, because it should start raining anytime soon. Hopefully Russell can keep these tyres together for a lap or two. They're just starting to drop off now. I'm expecting it to rain towards the end of lap 10. We should be due rain any time now. Very aware that he's going to have to come in for inters early. It's dodgy. It's dodgy. We're going to add some charge. And we're going to go for a quick pit stop. It reckons we can do a 1 second pit. Kubica in 10th. He has passed Russell on the track. He does have the most worn tyres of anyone. Russells are about to just drop off the car. Hopefully we won't get a failure here. Almost lost it. He came so close to losing it, but he should find his way back to the pits. What's the pit time look like? The pit stop 1.7. That's beautiful. 1.7 with no errors. Robert Kubica now. Can we get through to the rain? We should have just snuck through to the rain, I think. I think we've made it. I think we've timed this just right. On to Inters. We're going to charge the battery by 75%. We'll go for a quick pit stop. He should have just enough. Just enough grip to get him back to the pits. We've lost Norris there, but I'm not overly worried by that in the grand scheme of things. I think that needed to happen. The rain's starting to come down now, which means we won't be the only ones coming in. I think a few of these guys on super softs are going to have to come in because it's going to proper hammer down. In fact, that's going to be like that for the rest of the race. So we should get maybe 2 stints on Inters, maybe have to do a long stint on wets. We'll see. And now we start to have the discussion about whether or not we start saving on fuel. K-Mag's been passed, beautiful. Is he going to find his way straight past Lance Stroll as well? That would be ideal for us. There's almost wrong with Magnussen. He's dropping way back and he's on Inters as well. Kubica, I think, got his Inters on just in time to switch them on. That's ideal. Where are we going to... Kimi Räikkönen went for full softs, a brand new set of full softs, and I think he's kind of committed to that for a while. I mean, he's still finding time, but only because cars are going into the pits. So that's going to be very interesting. Perez and Sainz have gone in. Kubica now up into 14th on the road. That's what we need. And we have to drop him down to medium engine mode for a little while. Hopefully George Russell will be able to push through. Interesting though, Pierre Gasly's still running 4th and not really losing a lot of time. He's not losing a great deal of time, despite having Bottas. Well, Bottas is 3 seconds behind him and not really closing on Inters, which is very interesting. Kimi Räikkönen is also not losing a great deal of time just yet, but it is going to start raining harder very shortly. So I think everyone's going to lose out a little bit. Unless, of course, the plan is for Räikkönen to try and get himself through to that very wet period, which is sort of here, or to a point at least where he can start to think about putting on the wet boots. But we shall see. We shall see. There's some interesting strategy going on. There we go. It's Kimi Räikkönen. He's gone to the pits. What's he going on with tyres now? He's dropped way back. What's he thinking with tyres? Kimi's gone out on Inters. He's just left it a bit later than the rest of us. I suppose that's what Kimi does. Speed it up. Let's get through the worst part now. Because we are mid-race, we are literally just need to keep an eye on tyres above all else, quite frankly, and fuel. Let's probably not lose too much fuel. George is struggling to overtake Kevin Magnussen. I can't really do much to help you, bud. And we can't afford to anger the tyre gods. Things are getting really wet out there. In fact, let's anger the tyre gods. Screw it, because that's lightning now, and it might be advantageous to get us into a position where we can run a full wet. If you guys have come in for them already, people are starting to look at the full wet. I think you need to trust me for a second, George, quite frankly. I think you should trust me more than you think you should. And now we're going to come in for those wet tyres. We are going to give Kubica one more lap than George on them. I know traditionally you bring in the guy in the lead, he gets preference on tyres, but there is a bit more left on Kubica's, and I want to get the most out of them I can. So that gives us a nice lap to sort of separate the two of them. George Russell's dropped to 14th, but that's actually not too bad. And Kubica now, you'd hope, would come out somewhere, what, 14th, 15th? There we go. That was largely what I was hoping for. Let's put the tyres on neutral so we don't waste them. And hopefully that should see us settled nicely above the sponsor objective at the very least. And to be honest, I don't think it's impossible that we can maybe sneak away into the points. I mean, this track is just horrendous. It should be starting to dry up a little bit now, but we are settled nicely now. We're only about 8 seconds shy of Kvyat in 10th. We do need the point. There's some teams going on to Inters. That is a mistake. That is a big mistake, because even though, yes, this section is going to be Inters, I think the end of the race is probably going to be more wets. And so I think actually we're probably going to stay on wets, because I don't think the lap times are going to be that much better, if I'm completely honest. Like, I think there's going to be a point where it starts getting rainy in a couple of laps, where we are very much going to look smart for staying on the wets. So let's do a quick pause. They look committed. That's probably there. Okay, I think I see a way through now. Because coming up to the end of 33, we should be sitting pretty on tyres we can push on. If I've got this right, that should be the right strategy. That should be the right strategy. I feel it. I feel like you're gonna pillory me in the comments, but this feels like it should be the right strategy now. I know, Robert, you've got worn tyres, but keep the faith, my friend. Keep the faith. Because this is going to be an absolute blinder. Because that track is getting wetter and wetter. Hopefully that's the game now. I think staying on wets was probably looking like a mistake. But the gaps are shrinking. The gaps are shrinking. It might be a bridge too far. And we are bringing down that gap there. Look, a 6.4 now for George Russell. 6.4 is not too shabby. Plus we do have the benefit we can push on these tyres because there's only 4 laps left on them. Let's see what Georgie boy can do. Can he get that right down? I think the points have gone probably, but they've probably gone. They've definitely gone. But this isn't the worst result we've ever pulled, I don't think. And it's looking quite tasty right now. As here we go, Russell coming through on what should be pretty much his last lap, to be honest, because he's already a lap down. But he is catching Lance Stroll. He's 1.2, 1 second now, 1 second behind. I am going to auto push him. A little bit. Let's see what we can do. Russell's got through. George Russell has got himself through into 17th. There's no way we're catching Lando Norris. I feel absolutely certain we're not catching Lando Norris. Let's have a look at what the last times on the board were. Last lap, we're 2 seconds a lap faster than him, but he's also 13 seconds ahead of us. So 17th, feels like it's the game, but 17th, to be honest, was something I would have taken at the start of this race, so that's not too bad. If you guys have gone on to super soft tyres at the end there, it's an interesting choice. Seems to get some good performance out of them too, which you'd never have thought. But there we go. This is going to be the end of the race. We're on our last lap now. I expect Vettel to cross the line shortly because we've got Leclerc right in front of us, so that should tell us everything. Still not bad. We're going to finish within 10 seconds of Lando Norris, which is not too bad. Lando Norris has only just been lapped, which means we don't get that extra lap to try and pass him, but that's fine because I don't think these tyres would have honestly made it another lap because of how hard we've been pushing them. So, small mercies, but if we can finish, there we go. We finished 8 seconds behind. That's not the most shameful finish. Kind of where I thought we'd be, and that I think is going to be us for the race. Let's just speed that up because we don't want to watch that forever. Could have maybe done better on the strategy, maybe. When some of these guys did 5 stops, some did 4. 4 seemed to work a little bit, but I don't know. It's a good start to the season either way. Let's just go into the final standings. It saves my game to make sure I don't forget to save the game. Yeah, good. It was results as expected. There was perhaps a quicker way, but I don't know where it was, if I'm honest. If we have a look here, like the guys who did 3 stops did a short stint on wets. Couple of guys here did an extra stint on softs there. But I don't know. Kimi Räikkönen made the most baffling choice of all, I think, which was the switch to soft. No one used the mediums. That's about what you expect. Let's have a look at the Drivers' Championship and the final results. Scrutineering we should pass because we've not added or taken anything from the car. Right, there's your final classification. Vettel wins the race. Hamilton and Leclerc make up the rest of the podium. Bottas, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Giovinazzi sneaks himself some points. Danny Kvyat, Romain Grosjean and Max Verstappen rounding out the top 10. Seb Vettel up 13 places, Gasly up 11, Kvyat, who I said would do well, up 11 places. Carlos Sainz lost 18 places. I think his car was knackered by the end of it, but not the worst overall. We'll take it. We will take that. The Drivers' Championship is exactly how you'd expect after one round. So, anything useful coming in off of the media? Very rarely. We had a better driver than George Russell, and someone likes us. Good choice. Good choices all around. Okay, that I think is going to be the end of this episode. We will be back in the next episode with the race, I think, at Doha, round 2. Until then, guys, I've been Chasing Lamely, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.